Alright, so welcome to our interview about social media and its impact on society. Dr. McGullis, I'd like to start off by saying I went against the prompt a little bit because you said to grab somebody who uses social media, but I feel like I found somebody so much more interesting. This is my dad, Jeff Copenhaver.
Hi.
One of the few that does not use social media. So, Dad, if you don't mind me getting things started by asking, why don't you use social media?
Because of interest. It does not interest me in other people's lives or what's going on in social media because of the propaganda on it and stuff. I still read the newspaper. I still use my internet to find out what's going on, and I watch the news.
Well, could you think of maybe like any positive impacts social media has had on people today?
Well, it keeps people that use it for what it's supposed to be used for informed. And it keeps families closer because of being states apart. They're able to stay close with their kids, their grandkids, have FaceTime. But yeah, there is a good impact on it. So you're not, and if you're homebound, you can't get out, you can talk to people. Literally visit them face to face. So yeah, it has good impact.
Yeah, it definitely keeps us much more connected these days. So I have to wonder, what do you think, from your perspective, are some of the negative impacts that social media has had?
Propaganda. Too much propaganda, negative.
Can you elaborate on that?
Too much politics involved in social media. Politics shouldn't be involved in social media because it's negative impact, and now they use it to their benefit. Predators use social media, and the bad thing is you can't catch them. They look for what they want on it, and they use it for what it wasn't meant to be used for.
Yeah, I would agree there. It's definitely made the world a little bit more dangerous.
Well,
That's a negative kickback.
People trash other people's lives too, because they're mad at them or something. And you can't take it back once you put it out. Unless you do a recant, and sometimes that doesn't help.
That's true. So would you say if you were on social media today, it would be a little more frustrating than what it would be, like entertaining?
There again, I would have to have an interest in being on social media. Would it be frustrating? I'm not sure because I've never used it per se for what it's supposed to be used for. I'm sure if you had grandchildren and you were states apart or something, yeah, I would probably use it to stay in contact with you, see how your kids were doing, how your family was doing. So yeah, I can't say if I'd be frustrated because I'd probably just use it for solely personal use.
Alright, so I am very curious about one thing, is I would say we grew up vastly different due to these technologies. Would you agree with that?
Very. Very.
Yeah, big time. So I have to wonder, being as somebody who grew up during the transcendence of social media, and it's where I get all my news, it's where I keep in touch with people, it's kind of where I keep in touch with kind of the entire world. So I have to wonder is, how do you do that in this day and age?
How do I do?
Like staying informed and staying in touch.
Well, staying informed, I still read my newspaper. I still watch the news. I don't per se use social media. I use the internet. I read a lot of news on the internet. There again, you can only take it with a grain of salt. Being when we were young, we only had TV and newspaper. That's it. And you had to believe what they said. And there wasn't any discussion about it. I mean, yeah, we come through it all. We come from zero social media to total interaction with people from other countries, which you would have never done back then.
That's true. Yeah, it is crazy to think now we're connected with every soul on the entire planet, and they're able to be reached. I mean, except for you, apparently.
Well, yeah, as much as you want to reach them.
Yeah, so, alright, final question. So because you grew up like this, do you think we would have been better off staying with those the technology you had whenever you were a kid? Or do you think we're a little better off with this being at our disposal now?
I don't know if you can say we're better off, but society evolves. It's evolving. And if you don't evolve with it, you're left behind. So our younger generation using it for what it was meant for the proper purpose, yes. I mean, you'd be lost without it because say you're a businessman and your competitor's using it and you're not. You know, for ads or campaigning, as long as you use it for what it was supposed to be used for. But no, we're not. If we did it the old way, we'd be still back in the day. We'd be uninformed. Because kids today don't read a newspaper.
Yeah, that's true.
And they don't really read what's on the internet, to be honest with you.
No, yeah, it's definitely become a much easier way to stay informed and stay on top of things. And I think we've definitely become very reliant on it in that way. To the point where nobody feels the need to pick up a newspaper or go read an article online or anything like that. Yeah, that is it's definitely a trivial thing, whether we are better off now as compared to when you were growing up. Because I think there was a lot more. What were some of the perks whenever you were a kid that you had without some of these technologies?
Our life was less stressful. It was more easygoing. Life is fast-paced now. It was not fast-paced when we were kids.
Yeah, it sure is.
So if you want to keep up, you know, the perks were you had no touch with the outer world. I mean, you were in your own world, literally. If you want to be informed, you had to really stay up with the newspapers and the news. So I wouldn't say there was a perk to it, but at that time, it wasn't, what do I want to say it, ruining society. As when first Facebook came about, it was just like a degradation to society. You know, people just got on it and started talking about their lives and their kids, and then predators started using it, and then politics, and it just snowballed to where now it's out of control.
Yeah, whether it was for the evolution of society or the de-evolution still remains to be seen. So, Dad, I gotta say thank you for joining me on this interview. I appreciate your time.
Well, thank you for thinking of me.
Absolutely. All right.